This is Tad Stones, creator of The Terror That Flaps in the Night, and you're listening to the St Canard Files, a Darkwing Duck podcast.
Guess what? The Joyrider is back today for a little bit. All right. Welcome to the St Canard Files, a Darkwing Duck podcast. I'm your host, Will Santana, and
I'm Mike Russo, and honestly, if I learned anything from this episode, is that marriage means responsibility, commitment, but mainly a mortgage with a balloon payment.
Hey, what up, Mike?
I'm good. How are you doing, Will?
I'm doing okay, man. Heading out to Huntsville again next month. This will be my third year in a row I go to this convention. This year it will be 3 years. Not 3 years, I'm sorry, 3 days. Normally it's only 2 days. I do plan on attending all 3 days, but of course on the last day I'll probably leave after like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah, because I noticed when you go to these cons, not even just comic cons or these type pop culture type cons, like if you even go to a retro video game con, the last day is like a great day to hit up the vendors because they trying to sell. They're not trying to load their trucks back up with all this junk, you know? So that's the best time. Yeah, so it's the best time to barter and try to get some bundle deals, trying to get what you can.
You don't want to bring everything home.
Yeah, so you're trying not to rip them off. Of course, they don't want to be lowballed either, but they are trying to make some money and they trying to not bring as much stuff back. So like that's the thing about those last days with the vendors at those cons. But Jim Cummings will be there, for us Darkwing fans.
Well, it's nice that we have conventions again, and he's actually going to be there.
Yeah, but he's not the reason why I'm really going. I've met Jim like 4 times now?
Right.
Yeah, so I'm going for Billy West.
Oh, okay. You were supposed to see him last year and that didn't happen, right?
Yeah, he canceled like a month prior, but he hasn't canceled yet, so fingers crossed. Hopefully he won't cancel, man. He's the reason why I'm going.
Well, you've seen Jim a lot.
Yeah, I've seen Jim a lot. It's gonna be a little weird though with Billy West, because I want him to sign a couple of things. I got like a Ren and Stimpy 2-pack Funko Pop. I got a Woody Woodpecker Chase Funko Pop, but I also had the Doug and Quailman Funko Pop, but it has the Disney logo on the Funko Pop.
Oh, he didn't voice Doug on the Disney version.
Nah, he did the Nickelodeon one, but
yeah.
I guess I'm going to have to suck it up because I don't care for the guy who voiced the Disney one.
Try to get yourself one of the Futurama ones, like Friar Zoidberg.
My friend Joe called me out on this. I've never seen Futurama before, man.
Oh, you're missing out.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it. I've heard good things. I've just never seen it.
I think it's all on Hulu.
Oh, is it?
Honestly, you don't need to watch all of it. Just like the original Fox seasons. You don't have to watch the later ones. Like, watch the first 4 seasons. Honestly, that's all you'd have to watch. But I really recommend those seasons. It's a really good show.
Oh, okay. Now, I saw there was another photo release of that Darkwing Beast Kingdom figure.
Yeah, I saw that too. Isn't it just like a CGI, like mock-up prototype of it still? It's not actually the finished product yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's the finished product, but I think we're starting to get an idea what it's going to look like, the finished product. I'm not really feeling it, though.
No, I don't really. I'm not really feeling what I'm seeing so far. I kind of hope the finished product looks better, but what I'm seeing, not. I would take a Funko Pop over what this is looking like.
We're getting close to that Disney that Justice book, Disney, I forgot what it was called, Disney something, with the Justice Ducks and the Chaos God series.
Yeah, it's almost April. That's crazy. Yeah, it'll be June before you know it.
Yeah, so we're starting to get close to that. There was something else Darkwing. Oh, that ugly shirt that Stan and Michelle had from Hot Topic, man.
Oh, it's mainly ugly because it's pink.
It's not just pink, the color that's bothering me, man. It's the orange with it, and I think it's like a purplish color too. Like it's a terrible color scheme. I get why they're interested in it because of the villains.
I think they're trying to go for like a very gaudy early 90s pop feel to this kind of shirt. Because, you grew up in that time. Everyone wore like crazy colored stuff. I think they're trying to go for like 90s kids who wore crazy colors like that. Me, most of my shirts are like shades of black, blue, and gray. But
see, that's how I am. I'm a dark color guy. I mean, I could deal with some red and some green here. I don't mind that. But that color scheme, But I get why Darkwing fans want it. It's the only shirt that has the villains like that.
And I love the picture of Megavolt they use is not even the usual stock photo of Megavolt that all products use. It's taken directly from an episode, so that's kind of got me intrigued. I might honestly buy the shirt, but I would have to throw something else over the shirt because I don't know if I just wear it like that.
I can't do it, man. I mean, and Cracker Jack is on it. You know me and Cracker Jack. But
I got to give Hot Topic a lot of credit for putting out so many different Darkwing shirts. I think it's all like online only because they probably custom make them, but at least they have a variety to buy.
That's true. I won't dispute that. That is true. And like they're the only ones that are dropping like legal licensed Darkwing shirts right now.
Yeah. Same with Godzilla. If you're putting Godzilla in the search function, you get like over a dozen different Godzilla shirts you can't get anywhere else. So I gotta give Hot Topic credit for at least making it easy for us to get shirts of the stuff we like.
Yeah, I can't knock him for that. There's only 2 of them so far I haven't got. That is one of them, and the other one is it's just the common Let's Get Dangerous, and it's the same logo from the fanny pack.
Right.
The Kellogg's. Yeah, I hate that shirt, man. So I'm not buying it. I'm tired of that same design of Darkwing, so I can't do it.
Yeah, I wish they would think a bit more out of the box, but I guess it's up to licensing what Disney allows. You know how Disney is.
Yeah. All right, well, Mike.
And we last product thing, we do know finally that Disney-approved Disney Afternoon book is definitely not coming out this year. The author tweeted recently it won't be out until late next year.
Yeah, I saw he posted a mock cover too. That cover looked pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I speculated this, and I think I'm right, is that the main reason it was delayed in the first place is that the book was supposed to do a lot to promote the new Ducktales, which by the time this episode drops, the show will be over. So I think the book had to go back to editing to take all that stuff out, and that's the reason it was delayed for so long. But we're not looking at this thing coming out until 2022.
Okay, yeah, so we got a minute.
Although it sounds like Tim Van Haal's book might come out this year.
Oh, okay.
Well, at least that's something.
Cool.
At least that's something. He's waiting on a release date, so I'm really hoping it comes out this year.
Mm-hmm. All right, so okay, Mike, let's talk some Darkwing now. We got to get into an episode review, man.
Yes, we do.
All right, what episode we got today?
We're talking about UFO, not UFO, UFO.
Any kind of pre-review you want to discuss on this one, or you kind of want to hold off?
I'm a little meh on this episode. I will give it props for trying to be a Launchpad story, and we've gotten so few of those. So it's kind of nice we get a bit of Launchpad stuff in this episode, although honestly it's not one of my favorites.
It's not one of mine. I like the LP, vibe to it, but I like Gosalyn. To me, she's kind of what saves it a little bit, where I can't give it a complete 0 or like a 0.5 type score.
Do you like this more or less than last week's episode?
I think I like it less.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I actually am in the same boat. I think I'm going to agree with you on that one.
Okay. I don't even remember what I gave the. Okay. I think I know what I'm going to score this one.
There's no Christopher Columbus Darkwing in this episode.
Yeah. Gosalyn is
But
like the main thing I like about this episode, because we get that classic Gos vibe to it, slasher and filming, scary. We can kind of get that vibe to her,
and we have a very forgettable villain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got a new
definitely,
one,
definitely.
but yeah, not a forgettable voice actor who plays him, but definitely a forgettable villain.
Oh yeah.
So let's get rolling here.
Yeah, let's get rolling here. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get into that production air date order, Mike. Take us away.
Wednesday, May 6th, 1992. Wow, already a week into May already. We're wrapping up the Disney afternoon episodes. Well, 72nd in production order.
Way back there.
Way back there, yeah. Down to the final 20 or so.
Wow.
Not even. Oh my God, not even. Story editor is Tad Stones, which gotta mean our writer again is Dev Ross. I love Dev. I love most of her episodes. I mean, it hurts me to say I'm not a big fan of this one.
Mhm.
But I will say she knows the characters pretty well, so a lot of the dialogue is okay. The characters act like themselves. Like you said, Gosalyn is very Gosalyn in this one.
Mhm.
And I love that she really decided to try to make a Launchpad-focused episode, so I'll give her a lot of credit for that one.
Wait, hold on, Mike. Before you go on, man, I will say, even though this is not a top Dev episode, writing wise,
Yeah.
I would take the two or three of the ones that I'm not fan of for the ones that we do love of Dev.
Oh my God, because we know she wrote some masterpieces. At least 4 of them are the series all-time best. So
Oh, yeah.
I will take an Apes of Wrath or a UFO.
Me too.
If I can get Time and Punishment, Quaver Quack, Haunted of Mr. Banana Brain, and Fungus Among Us. I will take episodes like this and Apes of Wrath if I can get those masterpieces she wrote.
Oh yeah, me too.
In
all
fact,
right, go ahead.
In fact, the character out of the main 3 characters, I think the one that I like the least in this one is Darkwing. Funny enough, and I'll explain why later. Animation, we have another one by Hanho Huenga. And I don't know about you, but I felt the animation was very bland.
It is.
It was so bland that I always forget who animated this. I always think it's Sun Woo.
Really?
Yeah, I always get. There's 2 episodes. Another one's coming up a few episodes from now, where I'm constantly forgetting who it was, because it offers nothing. There's like nothing visually interesting about this one.
Mm-hmm.
From the villain to the scenery to the animation itself, everything is just kind of bland. I feel like it's going through the motions. How do you feel? Is there anything in this one that stood out to you?
Nothing popped. The only thing that I kind of like, but it doesn't pop, is just the black and white footage.
Yeah, that's different.
It. That's it. Nothing popped for me. How about you?
Nothing really. There's like one scene that jumps out at me where I was like, yeah, that's Hanho Huenga. I recognize their style, and there's like one scene. And there's a couple of like scenes where there's like physical comedy with Darkwing that's all right. But otherwise, it's a lot of talking heads and characters just talking to each other. Like the first 2 acts, they're mostly just standing around having conversations. So there isn't much room for any like fun action scenes until the very end. So it's like the episode, I wouldn't call it boring, but not much is really going on in this one.
Yeah.
But I guess that said, I think we should start talking about it.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's get into this plot, man. First, we start off, we got Gosalyn. She's kind of narrating and talking about filming at the same time. They're in the middle of the desert. Kind of looks like Arizona a little bit.
Yeah, and the opening is cool because everything is shot from her camera's point of view in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, Drake's getting upset because he feels she's wasting film. She's wasting the tapes.
Right.
So this is an old school camcorder if it's requiring tapes.
Yeah, absolutely. And Launchpad's driving, and we have a few other like hints of old school technology I doubt kids today would even understand later on in the episode too.
Oh, yeah.
So Launchpad's driving, Drake is chewing out Gosalyn, and then all of a sudden a spaceship shows up, blinding flash of light, and the next thing you know, it's nighttime, Launchpad's gone, and Drake is driving, and nobody realizes Launchpad's gone.
Yeah, Drake is driving, Gosalyn's now in the passenger seat. She's no longer in the back seat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So something happened.
Yeah, something happened, but it's like to them everything's normal. So they arrive at a dude ranch.
Yes. I would have liked to have seen more of them actually going on vacation.
Hmm.
I think that would have been cool if we could have just seen them doing vacation stuff as a family. I mean, obviously it's Darkwing Duck, so they're not going to do that. This isn't Goof Troop. But yeah, they end up at a dude ranch, and we get a guest voice actor coming back.
Yep.
Who is it?
Michael Goff.
He is voicing Cowboy Doug. And do you recognize the voice that he's using?
No, I didn't.
It's Gopher from the Winnie the Pooh show, the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. He's doing the exact same Gopher voice. He's whistling his S's.
Oh, okay.
That's absolutely how you know it's him. Of course, who did Michael Goff voice on the show? We haven't talked about this character in over a year. Who did he voice?
Jambalaya Jake.
He was Jambalaya Jake. So he's coming back to voice Cowboy Doug, who shows up to open a third bed. And Drake is like, we didn't order a third bed. He's like, that's what you ordered. Mm-hmm. So Gosalyn, she's checking her film on a black and white TV. So kids, yes, TVs weren't always in color. Some of us had to deal with black and white. Did you own a black and white TV as a kid?
I don't think I did. I think from all I can remember, all of my TVs were colored.
We had a little black and white that we were, honestly, I kid you not, still using into the early 2000s.
Oh my goodness!
We had it on a little table in our living room that we carted around. I mean, we had a big fancy TV, but we never threw out a black and white TV. They finally realize something's missing when Drake opens up the extra suitcases and finds a stuffed teddy bear with a flight cap and a scarf around it. Mm-hmm. And then Launchpad shows up in Gosalyn's movie, so they realize, yeah, what happened to Launchpad?
Yep. And then she starts to remember what happened. She kind of like getting the flashback of what happened.
Yeah, she starts to remember. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they were driving in the car, and the alien spaceship shows up and lands. And then a bunch of little aliens come out. They're like, how would you describe these little guys?
They kind of look like Eggman a little bit, but like miniature ones.
They have really large heads. They don't talk either. And Launchpad's like, I think I know those guys.
Yeah. Gosalyn wanted to just run out to them, but Darkwing's more reserved. But LP just walks right to them.
Yeah, and they pick him up and they carry him away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they take him into the spaceship.
Mm-hmm. What happens next, Will?
Darkwing and Gosalyn, they find I believe she thought it was a flashlight, right?
He thinks it's a flashlight.
Okay, he thought it was a flashlight, and then but it turns out to be a weapon.
Yes. He almost gets blown up with it. It blasts a hole in the rocks he's standing by. Mm-hmm. And then we meet the episode's villain. We don't know he's the villain right away, but it's pretty obvious that he is. Yeah. This is Bleeb. I'm not feeling this guy. But I will say I like his voice actor quite a bit. This is Jess Harnell. I wouldn't say he's one of my favorite voice actors, but I really like his work. He was born in 1963, so he wasn't even 30 when he recorded this episode. This is one of the earliest things he ever did. He has a really, really big resume over the past 30 years. Like, if there's a cartoon show, he was probably in it somehow. But his career really took off, and my favorite character that he voiced, he was Wacko on Animaniacs.
Oh, okay.
That's the voice everybody remembers. I mean, he's done tons of voices, but my favorite is Wacko. Of course, she's still doing Wacko on the reboot. But he's Bleeb, and what do you think of Bleeb?
He sucks as a one-time villain, man.
Yeah. I won't fault the voice actor, but I don't care for the character at all.
Yeah.
And so Bleeb is mad at these little aliens that they misplaced a Zaslovian atomizer. That's the quote-unquote flashlight. Really, really quick, the name Zaslovian atomizer, they're referencing Alan Zaslov, who was a Darkwing director. Mm-hmm. He was all over these shows, Gummy Bears, Rescue Rangers, Ducktales, Aladdin. And he goes all the way back to the old Warner Brothers cartoons. And he passed away in 2019.
Yeah, I remember that.
So the Zaslovian atomizer actually is a reference to this man who did a lot for these Disney shows. Mm-hmm. And then Bleeb starts threatening these guys, and he tells them he's going to leave them out for the Sphacos. That's a reference to Ellen Svako, who is also a Darkwing writer. Remember her and her writing partner, Colleen Tabor, they wrote Wiffle While You Work
Mm-hmm.
and Toys R Us. So Devros is throwing in all these people that she knew as references in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. You have to
Yeah.
understand, you have to know the background of these shows to get these references.
Mm-hmm.
What happens next?
The alien, he starts to control DW, and Gosalyn is filming, but when he controls DW, he like turns him into like a ball or something, don't he?
Yeah, because Darkwing's threatening him.
Mm-hmm.
Darkwing had a really bad habit in this episode of opening his big mouth constantly and getting himself in trouble. And yeah, Bleeb smashes him down into like an egg shape with eyes.
Yeah, and then LP returns and he asks Bleeb to leave DW alone.
Yeah, because he was planning on zapping Darkwing and Gosalyn with the atomizer.
Mm-hmm.
Then Launchpad shows up and asks them to stop. And then Launchpad explains what's going on. And I think this is my favorite part of the episode because it's like the only Launchpad backstory the show ever gives us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got backstory on Launchpad on some episodes of Ducktales,
I
but
remember
since he isn't a main character here, really, they don't tell us much about him. So this is the most that we get.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a flashback to a little Launchpad who turns out was afraid of heights as a kid, which he says doesn't go over well with a family of pilots. We see his father, who we did meet on DuckTales, if you remember that episode, Top Duck.
Mm-hmm.
It's Ripcord was his dad's name. So his father drags Launchpad into what plane?
The Joyrider is back.
This has got to be officially the Joyrider. This isn't like some other plane. This is definitely it. Takes him up into the air. Launchpad falls out of the plane, and who rescues him?
Tia.
Little Tia. We'll meet her later on as an adult, but she's flying with like her little rocket pack. She rescues him, and basically Launchpad says she taught him to not be afraid of heights, and he taught her how to have fun, which is something she didn't get to do on her planet.
Mm-hmm.
What do they do together?
They go to a amusement park or something, right?
Right, yeah. So they have fun. They're on a merry-go-round, and they're having fun together. They're having a good time. And then all of a sudden, the spaceship shows up. You see Bleeb. He zaps Launchpad back into the Joyrider.
Yeah. Quick question, Mike. The LP's dad and little LP, were voiced by Terry, right? Both.
It's all Terry, yeah.
Okay.
Quick, I'll quickly mention that when Ripcord was on DuckTales, he was voiced by Peter Cullen.
Okay.
Just thought I mentioned that. But yeah, they weren't going to get Peter Cullen for, one line on Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
So Terry did it. But that's the end of the flashback. And what happens next?
After the flashback, trying to remember, it's revealed that LP is to marry Tia.
Yes. So we meet Tia. She's voiced by a woman named Alice Beasley. I don't really know much about her outside of what I see on her IMDb. Born in 1951, IMDb mentions that she's famous for Moonlighting, Legally Blonde, Loaded Weapon 1. Darkwing, this one role was her only like Disney afternoon era show. I know she was a reoccurring character on the Disney show Recess, which I didn't watch because I was too old for that at the time. Mm-hmm. I don't really have any thoughts on Tia. She's kind of forgettable. You have any thoughts?
She's forgettable, but she's not bad. She's kind of cute, a little
she's
fun.
Nice.
Yeah, she's fun with LP. I can see the combination, but would I want to see her again? I'll be fine.
Yeah, so she's Queen of the Galaxy, and a nice little back and forth line. Bleeb says Launchpad and Tia are to oompa. That's what they call marriage. And Darkwing's like, hey, you watch your language.
But DW starts getting jealous when he realizes what's all gonna come for LP.
Right. He starts opening his big mouth again and ticking off Bleeb.
Yeah.
So Bleeb de-evolves Darkwing.
Yeah, he starts like shift changing, right?
Yeah, he turns him into a Neanderthal. And you have Tad, not Tad. Sorry, Tad. Jim Cummings doing Taz's voice. You can definitely tell. Then a monkey, then a lizard, and then the little slug thing. So yeah, this comes back later. They have a weapon that can de-evolution everything. And again, Darkwing just keeps getting punishment for ticking off Bleeb. And then I like the moment that comes up here where Launchpad and Gosalyn have this like kind of like emotional moment together.
Yeah, she starts, telling him how much she's gonna miss him, and she doesn't want him to go.
Yeah, he says, I can do a lot of good up here, and she's like, you're doing a lot of good down here already. And he's like, yeah, I know, but I always thought you'd, take my spot as Darkwing sidekick eventually.
Mm-hmm.
It's sweet. She hugs him. She's like, but no one could ever take your spot. And it's really sweet. I kind of wish there was more of this in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
It would be really nice if we got into this more.
That's what I was saying. Like, I love Gosalyn and LP on this episode, man. It really
I don't
worked.
think they have any more scenes together after this. Maybe not until the very, very end, but this is the last time they're together in the episode.
Okay.
I would love an episode where it was just Launchpad and Gosalyn together doing something without Darkwing.
Mm-hmm.
They never did that. Funny joke here. I think it's my favorite dialogue in the episode when Launchpad starts to panic about getting married. When he's like, I can't do this. Marriage is a commitment, a responsibility. He does that balloon payment line I started off with. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm going to need a lot of time to think this over. And then Bleeb's like, you have until tomorrow. Okay. Really great. You know what? I love how much Terry McGovern gets to say in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's really good as Launchpad, and I wish he got more episodes to himself. I really do. Okay, so we get this subplot going on now with Gosalyn. What's she up to?
She's movie making.
Yep, she's got her little camera. No, kids, we didn't always use cell phones to make movies. Sorry, we actually used video cameras. And she has 3 aliens, but she needs a whole army. So also something that's critical to the climax. These aliens were able to pick out their own feathers and clone each other.
Mm-hmm.
And
multiply.
They can multiply, yeah. And so Darkwing wants to sneak back into the spaceship because he thinks something's up. He doesn't trust anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So he sneaks into the wedding cake.
Yeah, it was the cake by that Cowboy Doug, right?
Yeah, Cowboy Doug takes it into the spaceship.
But Goth didn't talk on that part, right?
No, because they've hypnotized him.
Okay.
Yeah, because these aliens, I guess they can hypnotize you. They can also erase your memory. So they can do what they want, basically. There's some kind of funny. I'd hesitate to say funny, but some physical stuff with Darkwing I kind of appreciate. He's spying on Bleeb, and Bleeb is going past on the moving walkway with a robot. I like how Darkwing takes the gas gun and just grapples out of the shot.
Mm-hmm.
But then he falls. And then the door closes, Darkwing bumps into it, and then the robot comes out and runs him over. And then so Darkwing's all smashed, he has to squeeze under the door.
Mm-hmm.
And as he's doing it, he's going
making all that noise, and he's trying to sneak.
Yeah, Jim has these great hurt Darkwing noises I've always loved. And then when Darkwing pops back into his normal shape, he sees lots of brains in jars.
Yeah, they're all in that room, and Bleeb is making a computerized brain transplant, right?
Yeah, what is his plot?
He wants to make a dumb LP robot, right?
Yeah, what he's doing is he wants to replace Launchpad's brain with a robot brain so he can control Launchpad, and through Launchpad he can control Tia.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to take over the galaxy. He puts the brain in the robot Launchpad, and it does this advanced calculus on a chalkboard. So he pulls out the robot brain and goes, I hope I can fix it. And then he smashes it with a hammer and puts it back in the robot.
Yeah, it was too smart. He wants to dumb it down.
Yeah, and that works because then the Launchpad robot goes back to the chalkboard and just draws pictures on it. So yeah, Darkwing comes in. He has an entrance, but no entrance line. He shows up in the cloud of smoke. And then Bleeb immediately levitates him and grabs him. Mm-hmm. So Darkwing's captured. Darkwing opens his eyes, and Will, what happened to Darkwing?
He's a brain. Or he's only a brain.
He's only a brain. He's a brain in a jar.
Mm-hmm.
I like the design of Darkwing's brain. It's literally just a brain with eyes on stalks.
Yeah. But the Darkwing brain spots his brainless body.
He goes, yo, brainless, over here. And so Bleeb wants Darkwing's body, because it has the robot brain in it, to get Launchpad and bring him to the lab so we can do the same thing to him.
Yeah.
And we do get an entrance for it's not really an entrance, but he does the I am the headache in the criminal mind. I am Darkwing's brain.
Yeah, the brain entrance.
The brain entrance, yeah. So Darkwing's brain manages to find Launchpad first, but he can't communicate with him, so Launchpad doesn't know what he wants. And Launchpad's like, blink once for yes, and twice for no, and 3 times for maybe, and 4 times for you getting warmer.
And
That's
then
his classic
he,
Launchpad.
yeah, and then he starts playing basketball with the brain.
He's like, yeah, you want to play, and he plays basketball with it. He tosses it over to Darkwing's body, who gets a hold of it. I'm gonna just throw out a reference for sci-fi fans who might be listening. The machine that Bleeb is using to watch what's going on, it's a communication device known as the Interocitor from an old 1950s sci-fi movie called This Island Earth, which I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it was also made fun of on the Mystery Science Theater movie.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody listening is familiar with Mystery Science Theater or this film, but obviously Dev, Tad probably has seen it and referenced it, which I think is cool. I'm a fan of that. So Gosalyn is nearby, and she spots Bleeb talking about his scheme.
Yeah, she spotted the brains first, and then she overhears Bleeb.
Yeah, and she starts videotaping him.
Yeah, and she hooks up the camera to that
the Interocitor. Yeah.
Yeah, and where everybody can see what's going on.
Yeah, and then Bleeb's little robot assistant comes after her. And when Bleeb tries to hit her with the evolution gun, he hits the robot and turns it into a toaster.
Yeah, but then Goss gets a little help. She gets some help.
Little aliens come back.
Yeah,
they're
they
like,
come back.
they're like alien versions of Huey, Dewey, and Louie almost.
Yeah.
Kinda. They come in, little gunslinger action happens, and Bleeb gets hit by his own evolution gun and turns into a fish.
Yeah, and they put him in a fishbowl.
Yeah, Darkwing doesn't even defeat him.
No, not at all.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares? We don't like Bleeb.
Yeah, and so then they're outside of the spaceship, and Darkwing is saying he has to reveal them to authority or something.
Why?
Right?
What did Tia do? Yeah, maybe Bleeb, but what did she do? He's like, well, I still have to alert the authorities, and I'm thinking, why are you such a jerk?
Yeah.
And he's like, don't worry though, I'll cut you down the book deal. But no, they're not going to even humor Darkwing. They wipe his memory.
Yeah, they zapped him like ASAP.
Yeah, because you don't want Darkwing running around blabbing this. Unfortunately, they have to wipe Gosalyn's memory too.
She tried to be sneaky with it though. She tried.
Yeah, she gives them one VHS tape. Hey kids, we never always watched movie streaming. We used video cassettes to watch movies. They take all of Gosalyn's VHS tapes and then wipe her memory too. Mm-hmm. And then Launchpad has to say goodbye to Tia.
Yeah, she wants him to stay though, but it's not happening. He claims DW needs him.
Also, it's implied throughout the episode that this kind of marriage wouldn't work because it's almost totally built on the fact that they have fun together. And Launchpad was having second thoughts anyway. Mm-hmm. So they say goodbye, and the aliens pull out a feather before he leaves. They, obviously they zap his memory too.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we see how the episode started.
Yeah, they're back in the car, but LP kind of disappears again.
Well, no, not really.
Well, because he returned to the ship, didn't he?
They clone him.
Oh, that was the clone.
Yeah.
I screwed that up.
A tale of two Launchpads.
I definitely screwed that up.
So there are technically two Launchpads in this universe.
Yeah, and the other one is in the ship with them, and he just wants to have fun with them.
Yeah, he comes in because she's crying, she's sad. He's like, "Come on, let's go have some fun." Mm-hmm. A cute ending.
I missed that ending. I screwed that up, Mike.
That's okay. That's okay.
All right,
that's UFO.
That's UFO. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into the score, man.
You start this time.
Okay. The episode kind of drags a little bit. It's very predictable. The only time it's kind of not predictable is the very beginning when they first get the Flash, and then they go into the dude ranch and they can't figure out what's going on. You know, the LP's missing.
It's a good mystery.
Yeah, it's a good mystery, but once they reunite with LP, the rest of the episode kind of just way too predictable.
Way too talky too.
Yeah.
They're all just standing around talking.
Yeah, Bleeb's not good as a villain.
Yeah.
Tia,
don't like Bleeb.
Yeah, like we said, Tia's okay. I can tolerate her, but would I want to see her again? Probably not. Gosalyn is what I do like, and you did hit one on the money with the Gosalyn and LP, you know, when they were having that moment of her not wanting him to leave, and he was saying, well, you're going to take my place eventually anyway. So that was kind of cool. But other than that, I'm going to go 1.0 on this one, Mike.
Okay, so a solid 1. All right. Yeah. Okay. Me, I'm going to give it a 1.5 only because there's at least one coming up that's definitely lower. And a few in the ABC season 2 I definitely want to put lower. Okay. 1.5, I think the opening mystery is pretty good. I think that the beginning is really well written. Gosalyn and Launchpad have that great moment. And it's nice to get an episode where Launchpad at least before Darkwing butts in, like midway in the second act, Launchpad is meant to be the star of this episode. Mm-hmm. But the problem with it is that since the episode has to have a villain, Darkwing has to be the hero. And I think he gets too much screen time. I would have loved to have just seen more Launchpad. But like after like the scene with Launchpad and Gosalyn, Launchpad kind of drops out of the story.
Yeah.
When I wish he could have done more. Like Darkwing gets all the scenes toward the end. Gosalyn and the aliens are what defeat Bleeb. Mm-hmm. And Launchpad kind of doesn't have much to do. So a couple of things that are good, save it for me, and I'll give it a 1.5.
Okay.
Let's rate Bleeb. Even the name doesn't do it for me.
Bleeb, I mean, at first he seems like a threat when you first meet him because he's like just toying with Darkwing, you know. So like he had the potential at the beginning. But then as the episode goes on, he's not even running the show. It's all Tia.
He's nothing.
He's nothing. I don't remember what I give Trench Rot, but I think Trench Rot is still my worst villain. I'm going to go 0.5.
I'm going to give him the same thing as you. I think the design is really bland, first of all. Mm-hmm. Like, he's purple and has those things in the back of his head. I kind of feel like they took Wacko's design and just redesigned him a bit. He's not original. T is okay. I like the little aliens, though. But we're not voting on those guys. We're not rating those guys. Just Bleeb, all he really has going for him is the fact that he has Jess Harnell doing the voice. But even the voice is not really interesting. Like Megavolt could kick this guy's butt. Any villain could. He's nothing. Darkwing shouldn't have a hard time with him at all. Mm-hmm. Like if Darkwing just went straight out and tried to fight this guy, he would have beat him easy.
Okay.
So he's nothing. Like 0.5. One's coming up soon that's getting a flat out 0, but I'm not going to mention what that villain is. But 0.5. I have no problem with that score. So.
Okay. All right. So Mike, that wraps up UFO.
Yep. UFO.
Okay. And what episode we got next?
Okay, we're getting a lot better. Next 2 episodes are bona fide classics. This is actually one of my personal favorites. A Star is Scorned.
Yeah, I do like that one.
If you guys thought twitching channels was crazy, this one's even crazier. It stomps all over Darkwing canon in a way that I just love. Plus, it has Bushroot and Herb and Binky and a lot of Honker. Honker is kind of back. Mm-hmm. It's a good episode. I love this one. I honestly can't wait to talk about it.
I actually like the next 2 episodes, but we can't talk about the one after that. Yeah.
The next 2 episodes are fantastic.
Okay. So, Mike, for the people tuning in for the first time, where can they find us?
Okay, so of course we are the St Canard Files, a Darkwing Duck podcast. You can find us on Stitcher, Spotify, Google, iTunes. Oh my goodness, I drew a blank. Pocket Cast, Radio Public, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. Also on YouTube, you can watch us there as well. Will, do you have any shout-outs?
Maybe a few. I'm just gonna give one out to Adrian Mateo. We shouted him out before.
Mm-hmm.
He's been posting a lot of Darkwing stuff. He's kind of depressed right now with no conventions. He's got that Liquidator cosplay. He's trying to get out there. And I also want to give a shout out to my homegirl Cherry, man. She's working on a new Ducktales 2017 Gosalyn cosplay. So I'm shouting out the cosplayers. All Darkwing, Ducktales, Disney Afternoon cosplayers. Shout out to you guys, man.
I hope that final episode was good. Obviously, we're recording this about 4 days before it airs, so I hope it was good. Mm-hmm. Will, do you intend to watch it?
Yeah, I'll watch it. Will I watch it the day it airs? Probably not.
Okay. Darkwing and Gosalyn are in it at some point.
Okay.
Yeah. But obviously, don't want to bore our listeners who have probably already seen it. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's UFO, guys. We're going to wrap this one up, and make sure y'all stay tuned next week for a Star Scorn, which you can tell Mike is very excited. I'm excited too, but...
Aardvark.
All right. Oh, last thing that remember that Beast Kingdom.
Beast
toy.
Kingdom. Yeah. When does that come out? Do you know when that comes out?
I think it said the summer, didn't it?
July.
I think was it July? I don't know.
Well, they have time to make it better.
Okay.
Knock on wood.
All right. All right, guys. Remember, get out there, keep collecting some DW stuff. There's books, there's comics, there's toys, Funko stuff, and Sunny Gummy and the Gummy Bears came out. So try to get that Sunny Gummy if you want to get Katie Lee's autograph. That's her baby.
It only just took a year for those to come out.
Yeah, but they're finally out though, so you can go ahead and order them up and get them in before they're vaulted and everything.
Yeah, remember guys, Jim Cummings did voice Zummy Gummy in the last season.
That's right.
So if you feel like having Jim sign something that's not Darkwing Duck, you can always buy Zummy.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this week. And remember, stay dangerous.
Good night.